Hey, how's it going everyone? So, one thing I want to do was make a video about pickled Swiss chard stems, but this year let's try this first because this is about time. This is pickled kohlrabi. You can see I got a whole bunch of stuff in there, peppercorns, all sorts of stuff. Just shaking it up, and I'm going to give it a try to see what I think. Yep. Alright, let's get out to the garden. We are looking at Swiss chard in our tall bed. We had planted a whole bunch of it this year. More than pretty much what we needed or use on a consistent basis. Normally we just chop a leaf up or whatever and put in some eggs and stuff, or maybe like a quiche, but right here you can see we got some pretty large leaves. The cucumbers in the background are starting to come up, so it's time to give them a cut. Look at those yellow stems. Absolutely incredible. But what we're going after here is not necessarily the greens. We will do other stuff with the greens, but it's just what we're looking for are these stems right here. These are what we grew a lot of. Is we had the rainbow mix, but a lot of what was in the rainbow mix wasn't necessarily the colors. We did get the red, you know, the beet red color and the pink and the little bit of a yellow. But these here are the giant Fort Hook Swiss chard in this rainbow pack, and they are absolutely huge. Look at this thing. It's about 2 foot long, just the leaf itself. And I mean, it's as tall as I am with the stem almost. Let me set the camera down and actually get to harvesting. We got a lot we got to pick. We cut down, I'll show you, we cut down 3 good bundles worth, but let's get at it. One thing I'm also doing while I'm trying to harvest what I want is also trying to cut out what we don't want. You see me just kind of chucking stuff over my shoulder. It's just going to get mowed over and mulched into the grass, and you know, it kind of just helps the microbiome and all that in the soil that we have. Yeah, we had some really good red. Look at that stem. It almost looks like rhubarb, but it's not, I promise. It's just Swiss chard. Alright, as you guys can see, I cut down quite a bit. I did leave some excess of this red because I do plan on doing something else with that later on, but as you can see, I got 3 huge, thick bundles of Swiss chard. These leaves are absolutely massive. We got a huge amount out of there. A lot of people don't know that you can take Swiss chard pretty much down to nothing, and it'll, you know, in a week to 2 weeks time, based on your weather and temperature and all that, it'll all grow back. But here we are back in the kitchen. All we're going after, wow, look at those colors. But like I was saying earlier, what we're going after are the stems. Like I said, we are doing something with the greens, but for now, this video is all about pickling the Swiss chard stems. So let's get that going. As you can see here, all I'm doing is I'm just cutting the greens off. I did realize that just ripping them is actually going to make it much faster. But trying to get every bit of the stems was just taking way too long. So essentially what I ended up doing for a majority of it was I just put the greens aside, but I got the like the bottoms of them that weren't necessarily all that edible. They're kind of like a really thick, hearty celery. Essentially, they eat the same way as the celery. see here, I'm just measuring it to make sure it'll fit in the jar. But just cutting them to jar length pieces, just about like that. That'll work. And yeah. But we don't want them too super thick, otherwise they just get all nasty. This here, a Swiss chard leaf, the red Swiss chard, for some reason, when they get older, they just don't hold up very well, and their flavor just does not turn out well. Compared to a younger Swiss chard leaf like this one here, it holds up really well, it tastes really great, but anytime you get them in excess, like this piece right here that I'm about to cut, it's not very good. So you can see that I just took all those greens and I just trashed them. I used that bottom part of the stalk that I wanted for the pickled Swiss chard experiment, I guess you could say. But those particular greens I just ended up trashing. All we're doing is just measuring and cutting. That's it. Measure, cut, measure, cut. And that's pretty much all it is. It's just rinse and repeat. You can see with the yellow here, I tried to pull it off, but the yellow, the leaves seem to stick to the stalk a little more. Unlike the Ford hook, which is more of the white kind, you can just rip it right off the stalk without any problems. But the red and the yellow were a little more feisty. They wanted to hang on a little bit, which is okay. And yes, for those of you that are big into cooking and chefery and culinary, I am obviously not using the right knife for this, but we gotta get ourselves some new knives. And for today, this just so happened to be the best knife that I had on me at the time. Alright, I'm gonna speed this up so y'all don't have to watch all this. This is all I'm doing. I'm just stemming and ripping the leaves off, and I don't necessarily go over what I do in this video for the greens. You can see, again, that was another red one that had gone past due. But in other videos, I might show what we do with the greens in a later time, but essentially all we do, we just cook them up and blanch the greens. But as for just this video, I just want to get just the stalks. So let me fast forward it and get us through here so you only got to watch all this. And here we are back. We are getting all sorts of different stuff inside the pot. We are mixing it together. Stirring, stirring, stirring. Alright, and for some reason, here we go, we're boiling. For some reason, I lost the footage of what I put in the pot. So essentially, it's just white pickling vinegar, or cooking vinegar, whatever you want to call it. And it is a lot of peppercorn, because I like peppercorn, a little bit of spice, a little bit of celery, seed, and I think we had dill, if I'm not mistaken, things like that. Alright, so once we had that all mixed up and boiling for a few minutes, all we're going to do is, you can see the stalks in the background. I'm going to try to get a good combination of white, yellow, and red and pink stalks per jar. Not exactly perfect, because obviously I had more of the white than the colored, based on, you know, what ended up growing. So you can see here, I'm just ladling in essentially the pickling juice. And yep, that did not fit. So it is boiling hot, so I'm just kind of sliding over, throwing the lid on it. and setting it off to the side. Once I set it off to the side and it cools relatively well, I will put it back inside the refrigerator to essentially cool and, you know, sit there for about a week. I found that just pouring the liquid in tends to work a little easier than ladling. I got a little, I guess, overeager and realized that, oh hey, maybe I didn't put enough enough in the pot for all 3 jars. So I gotta make a little bit more. Not a big deal, it happens. Just a little bit more vinegar and kind of a little bit of everything added back into it. As you can see, I'm just going to add just a smidge more sugar since I did, you know, obviously pour some of it out that was mixed in with vinegar for the other 2. So we got to add just a smidge more. We don't want to make it sour. I mean, pickling, essentially. I mean, it's still going to be slightly sour because that's what pickles are, but as I'm going over this, one of the things that I was thinking about was wondering what else I could possibly do with the stalks. I could make like a vegetable stock or a almost like a curry, like a vegetable curry. Probably with some turmeric and ginger and things like that, or like a soup, I guess you could say. Alright, that looks good. Time to pour all that back in there. And for the 3rd jar, give it a good pour in. Thankfully, I did not fridge or freeze the jars prior like I normally do. Otherwise, you know, a little crack. But there is still quite a few peppercorns in the bottom, so all I'm going to do is just grab a spoon, scoop a few peppercorns out to get it in there, you know, give it that extra little kick. When you pour it in, they tend to settle to the bottom due to just being heavier naturally. What you think of that, Annie? Is it pretty good? You started to tear into it. Decided not to? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. What that look is? That's a look of, man, Dad, I don't want to eat it. Oh, did it have a buggy on it? It might have. Oh, fly.